Say you, say me, say it for always. That's the way it should be. Hey, what's going on? We're going to look at some more Dell 4-color comics from 1953 to 1955 today. Let's look at a stack, shall we? This is Dell 4-color number 529, Little Beaver from 1953. Little Beaver. This is a great character. How's this for representation? I just love this. 1953, and this 10-year-old Native American boy has his own comic book. And I mean, he really has his own comic book. This is just the beginning for Little Beaver. This is maybe at this point, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing this is about the third or maybe fourth appearance of Little Beaver in 4-color. And shortly after this, he would have a couple more, another 2-3 appearances, and his popularity would grant him his own title, which is something that happened here with Dell 4-color. If a title proved to be popular, they would give that title their own comic. So this is Little Beaver by Fred Harmon. Little Beaver is been around for a long time prior to this. Little Beaver came from a comic called Red Ryder. He's kind of the Robin to Red Ryder. So he was a sidekick. He was the sidekick of a cowboy hero named Red Ryder. This I believe there's movie serials, live action of Red Ryder and Little Beaver, as well as radio dramas, I think. And so Red Ryder had a comic by Fred Harmon. I've got a couple issues that's actually quite good. And Little Beaver is the sidekick in there. Well, at this point now, Little Beaver has his own title here in 4-color, and then he would get his own comic. And it's pretty cool. You know, it's the whole thing is from the viewpoint of this young Indian boy named Little Beaver. I can't remember what tribe he is. We'd have to look through here and read. And it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. You know, and it's pretty neat. You're thinking, wow, this is how progressive was this? Boy, once again, the systemic racism must have been slipping at this point. But you know, they were still in there because they've got I forget what her name is. Might be Little Flower or something. I forget. But he's always saving her. But they talk funny. See, look, they're whispering. Too bad we not beat 'em men through tunnel. We got to warn Sheriff Newt. Bad men be plenty mad when they find Noam horses. Maybe they try to escape with money in fire engine. So that's what you're getting. Maybe they not escape, but money not. We save them that right now. So, yeah, I mean, that's not cool, but it's here. You know, it's a part of the charm of this whole thing. So I look past that. I look past the way that they're talking, right? And it's not all that difficult. It's easier to look past this than it is to look past like Porky Pig. Like, it's very difficult for me to read a Porky Pig comic because I have to stutter to myself in my head. I really don't like that. But definitely, despite the way that they make that Fred Harmon has them talking in here, he is the hero. He's the hero. They are. That's the most important thing, is that he's heroic, right? And that's pretty darn cool. And he had his own comic book. Kids wanted to be little Indian boys. That's what's happening here. I'm telling you right now. When I was a little kid, when we played cowboys and Indians, I wanted to be the Indian. And if I was like that, that means lots of other kids were like that. So that's what this is about. But it's also representation, and it's also something that they haven't been able to do since, right? How come there's no Little Beavers? Why isn't Little Beaver a comic? You know, what would be going on with Little Beaver in today's timeline? I don't know, but it probably wouldn't be good. Son of Black Beauty. Also, couple 2-3 appearances in 4-color of Son of Black Beauty. This is number 510. Probably also from 1953. November of 1953. Yeah, so this is just that thing we talked about before. You know, people loved horses. People really loved horses. And these comic books, a lot of them were being purchased. This series is for everybody. And so these are being purchased by adults and teenagers and by girls, right? This is about horses. I mean, I really wouldn't have been interested in this when I was a little kid very much, unless this was what all I had to read at my aunt's house and this is what had been presented to me. But I wouldn't have picked this out and purchased this. But I knew a lot of girls that would have when I went to school that were really into this equestrian thing. And also they were into all these books about horses. They read these in elementary school. Here's another one. And also another thing talking about OCD and not liking to read Porky Pig comics just for that one reason alone. And that's true. I don't like Porky Pig because I don't like having to stutter in my head. This is Stormy, the thoroughbred with an inferiority complex. I love that title, and we'll look inside at the indicia. It's in there as well. I think that's kind of funny. Plus, a double feature of Pluto. This would have killed my OCD, and I don't even like it now looking at it. Look. Walt Disney's Stormy, the thoroughbred with an inferiority complex, plus double feature Pluto. Interesting. Inferiority complex. It's interesting that that's in the title. Anyway, pretty cool. I haven't read this yet. So this is a horse story, Stormy, and then right below it, you have a Pluto story, in Pluto in Uninvited Guest. So you're presented with this. Do you read this and then move on? And then do you read this and then this and then this and then this? No, I couldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I'm even bothered by the idea of just reading this story, because when I'm reading this story, I have to divert my vision because I might see something in here that affects me somehow. So I probably would cover this with something when I was reading this. I mean, I'm just explaining, embellishing for you and helping you to understand the individual psychosis of the host of this video. And as I tend to say a lot, if I think this, there's probably other people thinking this as well. This bothers other people too, I'm sure. Ben and me. Hey, we just talked about this. A lot of these, we looked at these the other night on the 4-Color Fossils. So bear with me if you've viewed my appearance on the 4-Color Fossils this week, and I showed a lot of these same comics. We're going to look at them a little closer and better lighting with better camera and better everything. This is Ben and Me. This is a true story about this mouse. It's written from this point of view of this revolutionary mouse who is in the presence of Benjamin Franklin. This comic book is like a history lesson on Benjamin Franklin and the Constitution, right? Declaration of Independence, not the Constitution, dummy. So look at how beautiful this is in here. The art's fantastic. I mean, it's really, really good. And the story is great. So it's written from the point of view of this mouse, and he becomes, he's sort of becomes friends with Benjamin Franklin in here. And, he hangs out with him, and we learn about some inventions. If they updated this, if they made, if they, did this, I think Benjamin Franklin would probably be a slave owner and a misogynist in some way. I think that in the past few years, they've dug some things up to make us disapprove of this great man. At the very least, he should gain no notoriety, approval in any way going forward, because he is a white cisgendered male. So we shouldn't even. Hopefully, they're not teaching about Benjamin Franklin in school anymore. I'm thinking kids don't learn about this anymore, and I think that that's probably good moving into the future. Need to forget all about those things, lessons about liberty and freedom and free speech. Put all of that behind you. It is what it is, and I'm on board with it. Knights of the Round Table, number 540. This is based on an MGM motion picture. Dazzling cover. It looks fantastic. We've got red and even a little bit of yellow or gold. These are selling colors. I don't know if you've ever noticed this before. Look at the covers of comic books. A lot of them have red lettering or yellow lettering and a lot of red and yellow. Red and yellow will sell a fellow. It will make a guy give you his dime. This is really cool, isn't it? I love this. Pretty neat. This is some of the stuff that you find in 4-color that is cool, that I enjoy reading now. And, you know, some of you would think that it's dry and boring and mundane, but that's me. Dry, boring, and mundane. This is Walt Disney's Rob Roy. This was previously owned by Armand Brawl. I think that Paolo would be able to do a good job of pronouncing this. I think it's Armand Bro. I don't think it's Brault or Brault. I'm not sure though. It might be Brault. I could be completely wrong. This is a comic book about a cocktail. Rob Roy. This is what's in a Rob Roy? It's like a gin and tonic, except you get 2 onions. No, I don't really know what a Rob Roy is. I know it's a cocktail though. But I mean, every time I show a Tom and Jerry comic, I could be saying, "Hey, you know, this is a comic about a cocktail," because I know that Tom and Jerry's used to be a cocktail, and I remember Tom and Jerry's because my mother had a special bowl for Tom and Jerry's. I think it's like this big punch bowl type thing with these little cups, and when they would have a cocktail party around the holiday time, I feel like they had Tom and Jerry's. I could be wrong. I often am. This looks really good. Are you guys looking at this? So this is an opportunity for me to point out. Sometimes it's not mundane and boring in here. This looks different than what we just looked at, doesn't it? Once again, for the most part, we have no idea who drew these comic books, and it didn't matter at the time at all. Rusty Riley, a boy, a horse, and a dog. Wow. Talk about sales. So the 50s, they loved dogs. There's the dog. They love horses. And they want boys to buy comic books. Or at least they want moms with boys to buy comic books for boys, which is might be what's happening here. Because like I said, when you mix Dell in, I do this a lot. Like I said, like I'm preaching or something, like I'm teaching you something you don't already know. Maybe some of you, but probably most of you already know what I'm talking about the whole time. And I'm sorry. I hope I'm not like talking down, or a lot of times I'm wrong about this stuff. So, you know, that's true too. Anyway, you mix this in on a regular comic book rack in like a pharmacy or something where everything is there, right? Superheroes and horror and crime. Most kids aren't going to pick this out. They really aren't. I would not pick this out. That's why I'm telling you, my theory is that Dell, because of its corporate levity, this is a heavy company. Because of it, because of the money involved in this company, this is being pushed to the front in its certain locations. Towards not kids, but moms, like I said. Why does it say 1964 right there? Well, this is another ridiculously wrong number that someone has stuck on this cover. This is about 1954, not 64. See? This is June of 1954. And this is Rhubarb, the Millionaire Cat. So I think this is based on a movie. I feel like this is a movie. It doesn't say anything here, but I think this is a movie about a cat that inherits a professional baseball team. Excuse me, I'm burping. I'm sorry about that. I read this. Yeah, see, look. It's a cat who inherits a professional baseball team. And it's pretty good. So, yeah. Boy, I did it again, man. Why do I keep saying so yeah? Where have I picked that up from? Do other people say so yeah? God, I can't stop saying it. It's so difficult. Why would it be? I remember when I was younger, it was difficult for me to stop saying, no, I'm saying. I used to always say, no, I'm saying. No, I'm saying. No, I'm saying. Like that. This was back in my Jinko jean wearing phase, you know. I used to wear these really baggy jeans and a flat brimmed baseball cap. And I used to finish every sentence with a question mark. And it would be, know what I'm saying? So I'm going to try and switch back, know what I'm saying, to know what I'm saying and stop saying so yeah. It's another horse comic, know what I'm saying? This one, not so much for little girls. I mean, this, to me, this didn't look like, girls like horses, but they don't really like horse racing that much. Once again, this is a mom thing. My mom went to the horse. My mom used to go to the track, but my mom, liked to gamble. But my mom went to the track. I wish I had some of her pictures. She used to have pictures like when they would go to the track, her and her sisters, and they would win. Then they would take pictures with the horse and the jockey. There's a couple instances where that happened. I wish I had those. Wow, this is a really good one. This is Rudyard Kipling's Mowgli Jungle Book. Once again, this as well was a continuing thing happening in 4-color. He made multiple appearances, but he never got his own title after 4-color. But this is Mowgli Jungle Book 582 with a beautiful, crazy, awesome painted cover. Now, sometimes with these books, what's happening on the cover, obviously isn't on the inside. But with 4-color, occasionally it really does happen. And that's what's cool, is that what you just saw on the cover, it's going to happen in here. And this is really neat because it's an adaptation of the Shere Khan story, of like the beginning of it all. Here's Shere Khan. And what I like in here is that the animals all talk like with word balloons. See, look, here's those water buffaloes from the cover. Anyway, here we go. What is the name of this wolf again? Why can't I think of it? There's Baloo, and what's the name of, he's saying Aquila. No, Aquila, for you and Gray Brother shall cut the herd in two. Why can't I remember the name right now? Aquila. I might have known the old pack leader would not forget me. Oh, that's not the main dog. The main dog is, we all know his name. Why I can't think of it right now. The main wolf. I don't know. Ram? No. Why wouldn't I remember him? He's calling him Gray Brother. Okay, anyway, it's good. You saw the art in here, also good. Not necessarily that kind of boring, mundane stuff that we saw a little earlier. This is nice. This is good and just beautiful. The story is so long, and there's no advertisements in here, and it goes all the way to the back cover. There's another little Scouts. This is a beat up copy, but still a fun, kind of cool cover. And I like these stories in here. Can't remember who does this. Roland Coe, I think, is the name of the guy. By Roland Coe. It's about 1954, probably. Yeah, October 54. This is fun stuff about a scoutmaster and a bunch of scouts. 54. I was going to say it's kind of like Follow Me Boys, but it's nothing like Follow Me Boys, and that came out later with Fred MacMurray, and it was really a good movie. If you want to watch a good Disney movie, I think that's Kurt Russell's very first appearance anywhere. I think that's Kurt Russell's first Disney appearance. Follow Me Boys. He's kind of this, if I remember right, he kind of plays this Huck Finn type character, and he's resistant to joining the Boy Scouts. And Fred MacMurray is a scout leader. Sir Lancelot, this is number 606, and it's another example of just these beautiful covers that must have just jumped right off the stand to certain people. Now, I would have bought this as a kid. I like this. This would have attracted me as an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old. I would have bought this for 10 cents for sure. This looks good. But once again, we're kind of back to that that same style on the inside here that some people don't like, but I really like. It's kind of just this classic standard illustration style, but it's never poor, but it's not necessarily super dynamic. It looks good in here today. This one looks good. Almost done. Hang in there, folks. We're getting to the bottom. This is for color number 614. You'll notice up here it says a movie classic. Now they would do this sometimes when they're promoting a Walt Disney movie. So this is a Disney movie that was coming out at the time. Walt Disney's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. This was a really entertaining movie. I remember this. Who's this? I'm going to guess, before we turn and look, I think it's Walter Pidgeon and Kirk Douglas. Is that who it is? Is it Walter Pidgeon and Kirk Douglas who are in this? There's the Nautilus. "20,000 Leagues Under the Sea." Isn't Kirk Douglas in here in a striped shirt? Is that him? Sure. The shirt looks a little different than it does in the movie, but I think that his character wears like this striped black and white shirt, but in here it's red and black. Is that supposed to be the Kirk Douglas character? It seems like it. How come there's no credits for the film? Isn't it interesting? Usually the inside cover right here will have a whole write-up about the movie. Is that James Mason? It's not Walter Pidgeon, it's James Mason. He plays Captain Nemo. Is that right? Why aren't the credits in here? It's strange. They're promoting the movie. This is a movie classic. Here's another one. Movie Nature. Oh, this is a nature classic. Walt Disney's True Life Adventure Beaver Valley. This is beautiful, isn't it? It's very possible that this was like one of those 52-minute short films that was produced for The Wonderful World of Disney. They would do that. They would make these books, these comics, coming out right around the same time as they showed the movie on television on Sunday night, pretty much. I think it was Sunday night. Walt Disney's A True Life Adventure in Beaver Valley. Here's Walt. Looking good. It's 1954. The park's just opening at this time. Yeah, the park is just opening in 1954. I feel like this park opened in the summer of 1955. Isn't that when Disneyland opened? Summer of 55? Huh, okay, this is April of 55, and I'm pretty sure that the park opened a little later. This summer the park opened up, Disneyland. This is a popular title. This is Ben Bowie and His Mountain Men. This made about 4 or 5 appearances in 4-color and gained popularity, and eventually he got his own series, also titled Ben Bowie and His Mountain Men, and it was popular. It probably ran for 10 or 15 issues. It's really good. These are I'm trying to think what this era is. This is like the 1760s. This is pre-Revolutionary War. This is like stories about the first colonies, about the 13 colonies, I think is what you would consider this to be. But like the bad guys in here are usually the redcoats, if I remember right. Yeah, see, look. I think the British guys are usually the bad guys in here. So this is a Revolutionary War kind of Western adventure about these mountain men in maybe like Virginia or something. I forget. West Virginia. Here's another Little Beaver appearance, 4-color number 660. So it looks like Little Beaver is making an appearance every year. I mean, growing in popularity, and I mean, you can kind of see why a little kid would want to buy this. I really like it. I even like this Fred Harmon's loose art style. He's got this loose thing going on. I really like it. Ugh, me try, but Not have 'em much luck. That's where, I mean, that's funny to me. I like that. Make 'em stop, little beaver. Ugh, me try, but not have 'em much luck. I like that. Hey, this is a key. So this is a big time key in here. This is a double key. This is your first cover appearance of Marlin Perkins, in case you didn't know. Also, the first cover appearance of Harambe. And then in here, you've got Jim getting choked out by a boa constrictor. And then also, this gorilla rips him limb from limb. That was the first time Jim had been dismembered in a comic book. This looks really good, actually, doesn't it? Beautiful. So this looks, honestly, this is another instance where some of these you're like, what? And then other ones you're like, okay. Sorry about hitting the camera. This would have flown off the stands, in my opinion. I feel like this would have flown off the stands. I would have bought this. If I had a little sister, she might have liked this too. And if I had a mom or a dad, they would have liked it as well, maybe. You know, if like my mom and my dad were June and Ward Cleaver, they would have definitely bought this. Or this looks, I mean, I would have bought this and took it to a birthday party as an addition to the airplane model that I gave my friend, because I would think this is a really cool comic book. Can we give this to Jeff this year? Last thing we're going to look at, another one of those. This is definitely a movie that was shown on Wonderful World of Disney. Walt Disney's The African Lion, a true life adventure feature. I talked about this the other night on 4-Color Fossil. I think this is just such a beautiful cover. I mean, that's just amazingly beautiful. Everything, the color, and it's probably even a little faded, but the lighting on this, and geez, whoever painted this is a master, right? It looks beautiful to me. Inside here, it's okay. It's, you know, it's pretty good. This is kind of cool. I like that lion. I like how he looks. But you get an entire story, an educational story, telling a kid about everything about lions in Africa. It's pretty darn cool, actually. It's full of animal violence. Graphic animal violence is happening here. This is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It's a rhinoceros in mortal combat with at least 3 crocodiles. It looks awesome. It looks so cool. So yeah, I mean, this is the type of thing where if you're 7 and you get this, maybe you're already maybe already your favorite animal is a lion. I remember when we used to say, so what's your favorite animal? When you were like 5 or 6, what's your favorite animal? A lot of kids would pick lions, especially because of that TV show that was on at the time called Kimba, the White Lion. That used to be on Channel 36, and then we would play on the playground during recess. We would pretend to be animals. So a lot of people would choose to be a part of the lion pack from Kimba. You know, no, I'm Kimba. Okay, well, I'm going to be Kimba's best friend. Or something like that. That's how it would go down. We would all run around roaring, pretending like we were lions. Except for the girls. They would be like gazelles or giraffes. It was a binary society back then. You know, kids were parceled up and placed into boxes from birth. You know, it was a sad binary time when all there were on the playground were boys and girls. So boring. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video talking at and looking about Dell 4-color comic books from 1953 to 1955. This is the last one that we looked at, and it's from November of 1955. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day.